Hey everybody, I'm going to be going over the update to the advanced swim component. This update adds a lot of new features, and this video is not scripted. I'm just going to be going over the change log, so if it's a little long-winded, I'm sorry, but I'm going to do my best to keep it concise and productive. So the first thing I want to go over is the new adaptive node. It's a new swimming animation blueprint that only takes a couple input animations and it outputs the procedural bends and movements you would need. So everything you've seen so far has only been using one animation, including the look offset. The goal of this is to make it easier for retargeting, and as I'm going to show right here, you can get away with retargeting or adding even only one animation as long as it's the forward swim animation. The blueprint will attempt to make an idle if you don't have an idle. You need a climb out animation if you want to be able to climb out, but it's not required, and of course the drowning one isn't required either. Procedural animation, you're going to want that checked, and waiting makes it so that when you walk through deep water, your movement speed slows and your walk blend space slightly changes as well to reflect the resistance. And again, this is done without blend spaces. This is all procedural, set to the standard UE5 mannequin bone names. So as you can see, all we've set up so far, keep in mind, is the one forward movement animation and the I've added the swim component and the interface, and that's it. I haven't set up anything else. It's just got the one animation, and it gives us all these other movements as well as the idle. The game animation sample is a little different for they handle the orientation and the camera differently, so that's in a different video. This is just going over the changes. So you can see in here we have the 3 example animation graphs. This is the adaptive one that you've seen as of now. This is the old one, the linked animation node, and we have another new one which is a template example. This one, if you have your own swim animations, you would right click it, click create child anim blueprint, and you select your skeleton. And then from there, once you select the skeleton, you're going to have this over here in your asset override window, and you could change out all the animations and blend spaces to your own. Of course, you might want to modify the template a little bit if you don't have some of these animations, or you could just repeat them. But I really recommend the adaptive example. It's just so much easier to work with if you are using a different skeleton. Now for what is probably the biggest change, the new swimming mode. So I've been swimming using this new movement mode, which is the normal character movement swimming instead of flying. You can still use flying, it works just as good, but this mode supports physics now. That way you can add player buoyancy. If you haven't noticed, the player buoyancy changes dynamically depending on where we are in the water. It also changes depending on if we're drowning, if we're by the surface. The way we add a physics volume to our water is we'll set up our smart water blueprint. This is the only one right now that supports physics to how we want it to look. And then after that, we will come over and drag in a physics volume to our blueprint. It has to be overlapping the water, and then we click refresh, and now the physics volume will have the properties that it needs and be the same size as the smart water volume. So if we want to move the volume around, we can. It takes care of that as well, and we could resize it and do whatever we want to do. There's also been some updates to the AI. Now all of the AI for swimming navigation is contained in the swimming component, so you can plug in your own advanced AI and just give them the swim component, and the swim component will handle their swimming. So you don't have to do any other. Well, it's obviously basic navigation for swimming, but you won't have to do any other complex stuff. Also, the AI, once it starts drowning, it'll swim back to the surface, get a breath of air, and come back down to wherever it was. And of course, there's settings for that. You could tweak it. You could make it so they don't drown, make it so they don't come back up, whatnot. Also, what you see here is the drowning overlay. Once you've been underwater for a certain amount of time, it'll apply this drowning additive to your swim animation. That pretty much wraps up the update. There were also a few bug fixes and quality of life changes, but those were the biggest changes. So I hope that you guys enjoy it, and take care.